Hello, friends. Welcome to the Rock Ed Camp 2020. My name is Dr. Sam Fessich, and I'm really excited to be here with you today. So, today I'm going to be walking you through lots of EdTech tools that you can use during student teaching. Now, I know that a lot of you are attending this camp, and maybe you're not student teaching, maybe you're a practicing educator, or you're a new teacher, or you're even an administrator. I think that these tools will help you because we're going to walk through each of the four Charlotte Danielson domains and we're going to talk about three tools that can help support you in each of these domains. Although this project is geared towards student teachers because they are my jam, I think you're going to find some benefit to it too, teachers. So let's hop right in. Here we go. So we know that technology truly makes the impossible possible. I want you to think about during this session how technology can be integrated to engage students and learning experiences like no other. Now, some of these tools that you can use in your face-to-face class, some of them you can use online and you can use them both. So these tools are very versatile. They are very user-friendly. They are free or low cost, and they can be used across devices. So those are benefits for all the tools that we'll be talking about today. So let's jump right in, student teachers. These tools are going to really help knock the socks off of your co-ops. And I know as student teachers, you have a lot to learn from your cooperating teacher, and you have a lot to share with them as well. We know that sharing is caring in the teacher world. So let's get out there. Let's learn some of these tools. Now, like I said, we're going to be talking about 12 different tools during this session. Now, that sounds like a lot, and it is. I want you to think about one tool that you can use during this session for each of the different domains within the Charlotte Danielson framework. So think about one tool you can use for planning and prep, one for classroom environment, one for instruction, and one for professional development. As you work through these tools, I want you to practice them this summer, get used to them, try out using them in an online space or in a face-to-face space, or invite your family and friends over to try them out. And I want you to get comfortable with them so you can use some really cool tech tools during your first day of student teaching. All right, so as we go through this presentation, if you have any takeaways, questions, comments, compliments, please share them out on social using hashtag EDUMAGIC. That's hashtag EduMagic. And you can also tag me at sfessage for on Twitter, on Instagram, and I'll be happy to connect with you over on there. That's at sfessage, and you'll see that at the bottom of each of these slides. So during today's discussion, we're going to break down three ed tech tools that we can use during student teaching. These are all based in the Charlotte Danielson framework for teaching. So if you're a PA educator, this is perfect because this is how you'll be evaluated as a practicing teacher and also during student teaching. So you'll be evaluated on your planning and preparation. You'll be evaluated on classroom environment and evaluated on instruction and on professional development. Now, these titles are changed a little bit from the Charlotte Danielson framework, but we're going to give you a brief overview of each of the domains, and we'll walk through, actually take down this presentation. I'll walk you through some different slides and websites that you guys can check out as well. All right, but you got to stay tuned because there's 5 bonus tools. You got to stay tuned till the end to find out more about that. All right, here we go. Let's start about domain one. Domain one is all about planning and prep. How are you going to plan that lesson? How are you going to connect it to standards and objectives? How are you going to measure their learning? And really, another huge part of domain one is truly knowing your student. And a great way to get to know your student is through doing student surveys. You can do those through Google Forms or Microsoft Forms. Send those out to your students. You'll see lots of different student type interest surveys online. You can Google them, you can add questions, you can add your own, and you can share that out in Google Classroom or whatever type of learning management system that your cooperating teacher is learning or using. It's also really important to know your content area. You are an expert in that content area, so show it. Get to know that. Get to know the curriculum, get to know the resources beyond the textbook. So go out there, find some cool resources online. They do exist, and you can find some really cool stuff out there that you can use to help support students in their learning. And it's also really important to assess students in their learning, whether it's formative assessment or summative assessment. You want to assess along the way and assess for full learning with each of the topics that you're discussing with your students. So I'm going to take down this presentation and we're going to actually dive into some cool tech tools. The first one I want to show you is Microsoft Sway. This is a free tool. All you need to have is a Microsoft account. And what's neat about this is I use this for my college courses. I create these Sway documents. And I like to think of it as, if you remember like old school publisher, and if a website and old school publisher had a baby, it would be Microsoft Sway. And I really enjoy using this tool because it can help support students in their learning. You can embed these documents into your learning management system. You can send them via email. You can share the link on social. So let's jump into one example. So here's an example of a Microsoft Sway that's all about digital portfolios. And this is the edit part of Microsoft Sway. So you can add in, you can see you can add in titles and headings, images, links. You can pop in text in here with bullet points. You can even highlight some stuff and add in links right within there so students just click on that. Here are some guiding questions that they're looking for. You can embed videos. You can do lots of different things within Microsoft Sway. So you can organize the content with uploads that you want to have in there. You can upload PDFs. You can pop them right into here. You can add different types of text, media with audio support. You can embed a document, or if you have an embed code for a Nearpod or a Pear Deck, you can embed that right in there. You can pull in video and images as well. And you can also group content. So if you have students looking at lots of different pictures, you can use a grid type option. Or if you have them comparing and contrasting pictures, using the comparison where you drag a little tool over and it shows you what differences they might notice. So if I were say I'm done creating my Sway, I can go to my design and I can choose styles and I can customize these different styles. What's nice about Microsoft Sway is all I need to do is provide the content, and Microsoft Sway does all of the design work for me. I am not a graphic designer, but Microsoft Sway makes me look really good. So this is a really cool way to show students content in a different way. So you might want to consider using Microsoft Sway. You can send these out to your students. They can click on the links, and this is what students would see. If I click on the play button, this is what they see. You'll notice along the side here, we might have, depending on the design that you choose, some things might animate. You'll see that there's a little line there animating. Here I can just go in and I can click on resources, and here's what they need to do at the end of this activity. I can easily share that out with only people within my organization, or I can also add collaborators if I'd like. I can share it out on social and LinkedIn. I can even embed this into my LMS. So if I want to put this in my, we use Microsoft Teams, so if I wanted to put that in there, I could. Or if you use Google Classroom, you can embed stuff right within your Google Classroom. So this is just a really unique way to show content to your students. The next one I want to show you is Adobe Spark. Now, I'm really digging this Adobe Spark because you can create some really cool things with here. You'll notice Adobe Spark, and the next one I'm going to show you is Canva. They're very similar. But what I like about Adobe Spark is you can create, if you want to create just a really quick web quest or something like that for your students, you can create a quick web page within here. You can create a video, and it walks you through the whole process of creating a video. You can also do social media posts, and you have flyers embedded within here too, so you can create some really cool stuff for your classroom. But if I just go to web page here, just as an example, it's going to think here. Here we go. I can just go in here. Maybe I do Rock Ed Camp, and we'll put 2020 virtual. And you can click on the plus sign. You can add a photo here. You'll notice that they have free photos that you can just pull right in. So I'm going to put love to learn because, everybody loves to learn. And you'll notice here, it's like, okay, now what do you want to add to your story? You can change up your layout. You can add a photo grid, a video. You can just pull right in from YouTube. I'm not going to actually add one in there. You can add a button. So this can go to a link that you want students to check out. Let me see. You can also add in text and photos, and students can go in and they can see it. You can preview it at any time. You can also share it out there, and any changes that you make, you just got to republish it. So you don't have to reshare the link. You just got to click publish again, and it'll update everything on there. What I want to show you within my designs here, yeah, so I'll pull up this one. You can also see how many people have viewed your Adobe Spark project. So here's a website that I created for a book study on the EduMagic Book, a guide for pre-service teachers. We'll give us some time here to think. And what's cool about it is it'll show you the different types of designs that you can have. You can pull in different types of quotes. You can have different types of headings. Um, and it gives you lots of different ways to design the content. You'll notice here I can switch this up if I wanted to. So as you're building out your content, you can make it look very beautiful and eye-catching. And you can just share that right out with your students. And this can be embedded as well. So that's an example of a page. You can also create a video right within Adobe Spark. And what's really cool about this, friends, you can embed this video into your digital portfolio. So if you want to create a video all about you and your teaching journey, you can do that and embed it right within. You can also share it out on social media. Another cool thing, you can do the social media posts. You can also create the collage. So if you want to do a collage of a unit that you created during student teaching, you can pop that in there and just pop that right onto your website, and it looks beautiful and very well designed. Like I said, all you need to do is provide the content and the design work is done for you. So here's an example of a video. This is a project that we did during COVID-19. I had a couple of my students, anytime, they were in class, I'm like, hey, can you guys make a little word of encouragement for students as they're starting to transition to online learning? So this is what we did as ed majors. They created this little video. So what we have here is we have different examples of a call to action. This is what they have in their an Adobe Spark's video. So here it'll share with you, okay, this is what you need to do to create these different options within your video. So it walks you right through it, and you're able to go in, you're able to pull in your text, and you can also split the screen. Here's the different design options that they have available for you, and you can add in photos here. You still have access to the free photos within Adobe Spark. So here, that one looks good. And we can go in and we can create this. You can also audio record. So if you have students maybe working on a project, or if you want to record instructions, you can also audio record right within here, which is a really cool feature of another tool I'll be sharing about in a little bit. So this is Adobe Spark. Within Adobe Spark, you can create posts, web pages, videos, and collages. The next one is Canva, and this is a teacher favorite. Let me tell you, I love using Canva. You can also sign up for Canva as an educator and get their free educator account, which might be a benefit to you. Within Canva, you can create really awesome materials. Now, you can go in, you can see I use Canva for my podcast every day, which I absolutely love and adore. Here, if you sign up for the education account, you'll see they have different examples of stuff that you can create. So there's educational infographics. You can also scroll up here and type in lesson plan and hold on to your teacher socks, because this is super cool. They actually have some little lesson plan templates that you can just edit for your own. So if I like this one here, I'm going to let it think for a minute, because everybody needs think time, even computers. And I can go in and I can edit these for my own use, and then I can print them or share them. So if I wanted to go in here and put in my own information, Dr. Fessich's lesson plan, there we go. And I can just go in here and I can edit my own stuff. So it looks like I need to go in and I need to add some text. I can do that, no problem. I can just grab my text in here. And here we're going to start with introductions to professor and students. I can adjust this. I can make that big or small. You'll notice along the side here, I can work within templates. I can upload my own content. So you'll see here, I've uploaded a lot of stuff within here. I can check out their photos and I can see what stuff is free. You'll notice if I mouse over, that says free. If it's not, there'll be a little paid information there. Here I have some elements that I can add into. It shows what I use a lot. You can see I really like that light bulb. So I can go in, I can just add that little light bulb, and I can add stuff to truly make this my own. And I can change the colors. So you'll see here, I can just go in, I can change my colors just like in Word. And other tools that I can use for editing. Well, now I'm really getting into this. Okay, I gotta stop editing here. You'll notice I can also add in grids and I can add in shapes here. If I want to have something I want to post on social, they have some different animated graphics I can use. I can create a really cool infographic using the charts options. Yeah, so you'll see lots of cool stuff within Elements. Text, what's really cool about this, all of this All of these fonts are editable, so you can just pull in, say I want this one. Oh, I already clicked it. Now I clicked it twice. Okay. And I can just go in and I can edit this. Whoops, it looks like I got too much here. Got too much going on, but you know what? That's okay. That happens. Delete the group. There we go. And I can just go in and change that. I can move it around and boop ba doo. There we go, and I can just add that to my lesson. And so I can go in, I can change what's said. So if I don't want cue the confetti, I can change it to whatever. I can also embed videos here. So here you'll see lots of this is great for social media posts, or if you're having students create content, have students create in Canva too. It is super cool. You can upload different backgrounds and things like that. You can also store content in folders. You can share content out. You can integrate different apps within Canva. So honestly, the sky is the limit when it comes to Canva. It's great for students to create with. It's great for you to create content with. And they also have PowerPoints. They have, social media posts. You can create bookmarks, lots of cool stuff. And you'll notice here, you can download and you can also share immediately to Google Classroom. So that is super cool. You can also share the link and pop it right onto your Facebook page. So that is really neat. And that's another Message favorite. So let's go over some of these tools again. Let me just make this nice and big so we can see it. There we go. All right, so Microsoft Sway, this is a great alternative to Google Slides or PowerPoint. As we know, we can insert images, videos, text, links, and students can enhance, engage with that content. Students can create beautiful presentations. You can create beautiful presentations and embed them into your learning management system or share them out with students via links. And they're really cool because students can interact with the content as they work through it. You can even have links to different sways. So if you want to differentiate some instruction there, as they complete different activities, you can have a link to click here to move on. They can go to something different. You can also embed forms within there for assessment embedded right into your Microsoft Sway. Adobe Spark, we know that we can create some really cool stuff like videos, posts, web pages, and collages within Adobe Spark. Super easy to edit. All you need to do is provide the content. It walks you right through it. The design process is all done for you. These are beautiful results for web pages. You can even embed your content from Adobe Spark into your learning management system. It's also really cool for printables, which I didn't really mention in our talk. You can create resumes and letters and flyers and pop that out on your digital portfolio as well, or send them out to prospective employers. And Canva, we know that there's a free option for educators. You definitely need to sign up for that. It's a fantastic resource for you. It provides lots of additional access to their elements and to some pictures. You can share out your content with Canva. You can also share as a collaborator, so you can collaborate with different Canva projects. You can have your students create within Canva, and you can create some really cool stuff within Canva as well. All right, let's move on to Domain 2. Domain 2 is all about respect and rapport. It's about that classroom environment. How are you going to have students think creatively and problem solve and collaborate? How are you going to provide them with a space where it shows that learning is valuable? I have a couple of EdTech tools to help you out along the way. So let me just minimize this screen. And you'll notice here, I've been closing out tabs as we go along our EdTech journey. So this next one I want to share with you is Classroom Screen. I love this tool. Now, if you're like me and you tell students, okay guys, we only have like 2 minutes to discuss with a partner and then we're going to meet back as a large group. They start discussing and maybe 30 seconds to a minute later, I call them back. So it really hasn't been a true 2 minutes. This is where Classroom Screen comes in handy. I love this because it has a little timer feature. I can just pop up the timer. I can give them 2 minutes, and this is up on the screen. I can use this virtually and in person. I can choose and customize the music. Students really like their cowbell or their Mario Brothers, and I can have that play. So I can have a stopwatch or a timer up for my students so they know how much time's left in a station, or when we're rotating to a different spot in the classroom, or how long they have to talk with a partner or get their slide ready for a small class presentation. I can also have a clock up here and I can set it to whatever I would like it to be. And I can have that up here as well. I can change my settings here and I can change my background as well. So that's pretty cool within my within my clock settings. I can change the colors, and I'll just go back there to clock. Okay, so I have my clock up here. Close that out. I can have my stopwatch, my calendar. So as students are coming in, maybe I have my clock and my calendar up, and I can change that. And maybe we're doing our morning meeting. Now that comes next, morning meeting. So as students are coming in, maybe you have them do a morning meeting or a 5-minute warm up. So maybe it's get your journals out. Today's prompt. And they respond to it, and maybe even have a little timer up here, so you'll see I'm starting to add stuff to my board. Maybe they have a 5-minute warm up, and you press play as they come in, and we all get started. If I decide I don't want these things, I just press on the little red X's here and they go away. Here I also have some work symbols, which is really cool. So if I have students coming into the class, maybe I have students still finishing up a test, so I want to have this one up on the screen. Or maybe they're doing a think, pair, share. So now I have our whisper sign up. Or maybe we're doing a small group activity, and now we're discussing in our large group. So I can customize these. I can go in, I can customize the color. Maybe I want some of them to stand out more there. So that helps students stay on track. We already talked about the text. We have a drawing option here. So if we have inside recess, I think this is a great one for inside recess. Students can just come on up and draw on there. I mean, it's very basic, but that's all right. QR code, I can create an automatic QR code that goes right to one of our favorite websites. And as students come in, they scan the code and it goes right to that website. So if I have them using Nearpod or Pear Deck or Plickers or whatever it might be, they can scan the QR code and they can go right to the site that we need them to be. Sound level, I'm not going to test this one, because what it'll do is it'll pick up the volume on your mic and it'll test it out. And so it'll show like if the class is too loud. Here I have some dice. I can choose what kind of dice I want. So if we're doing random name picker, we can also do that as well here with the random name picker. And we can also change the background. This one is a lot of fun. You can upload your own pictures. Maybe you have a picture of your classroom. You can upload that. They have some animations too that you can pop in, or you can just use a color. If that is your jam, you are more than welcome to use that as well. I really like having this one up. Little Lewis really makes everybody excited to come to class. And yeah, so that's pretty cool. So this one's classroom screen. You can go in here, you can actually save these screens so you don't have to like recreate the wheel every time, which is nice. So that's classroom screen. That helps keep everyone on track. Now, this next one is Nearpod. And if you haven't heard of Nearpod, you need to put it on your list because it's an amazing tool. What's really cool about this Nearpod is, first, they are beta testing live lesson in Zoom. So you can automatically do a lesson right within Zoom. You can do a little live lesson here as well. But if I go into my Nearpod, and we're going to let it load up here. This is a presentation I did for a different group, but you can go in and you can add your slides. You can have students interact with content. So this type of example is a virtual bulletin board type thing where they can just add in their answers, or they can put a picture as their answer, and it shows up on everybody's screen. You can have open-ended questions within Nearpod. You can have them go to a website. You can have them go to, now I'm doing all kinds of cool stuff within Nearpod. Go back. You can have them go to a website. You can have them do a 3D model. You can have them go on a virtual field trip, all within Nearpod. And what's nice about it is, as you switch your slides, their slide switches on their screen too. So that is super cool and convenient for you as a teacher. You can see as students come into the class, if they leave, it turns red. So you can see that as well. And each student is responsible for their own learning, which is beautiful. So definitely check out Nearpod. There's so much out there in their library. So you can check out their library. Here you'll see featured lessons. Most of these are free. So if you just click on these, and if you like them, you can go in and check them out. Here we go. You can go in and you can read through these different resources that they have. Let me go back to Nearpod. Go back. And you can also search within grade level and subject area. So if I go over here to my list here, I can search by standards. Maybe I'm going to search science, third grade. Let's see what we got. And I can also go into full lessons and see what they have here. So I can go in, I can preview different lessons, and I can add these to my library as well if I'm digging them. I can edit them as well. So that's really cool. All right, so that's Nearpod. The next one I want to show you within this group, this one I like for classroom environment because there's so much you can do within this site. One is the random name picker. So everyone gets on the wheel and you pick their name. You can make different assessments within old school Pac-Man. So you pull up some questions and they have to answer them, and they play old school Pac-Man. You can do fake book, which is really interesting. So if you have two historical characters talking to each other, you can have students interact as those characters on fake book. They have a 3D art gallery. So if you have students creating art, you take pictures of their art, you can put them in a 3D art gallery and they can put that on your website, and students can go in and they can see their work like in a gallery, which is really cool. QR code generator, which is really cool for a scavenger hunt. So these, all you need to do is provide questions and answers, and it'll give you everything you need to print for your QR code scavenger hunt. Let's see, what else do we have? Okay, so if you've ever played Jeopardy, I'm going to show you one really cool tool. It's in the next spot to help you out with Jeopardy. Sorry, I thought that was it. You can also have certificate generators for students, time or breaking news generators. As students come in, maybe that's something you have up on the screen. You can also have some really funny sound effects within your class too. So there's some really cool stuff within classtools.net that you can check out for students to interact with, to engage in content, and to create some really cool stuff. All right, so let's go back to our presentation here. Whoop, let me minimize that. All right, so we know that we talked about domain 2, having a class respect and rapport. So a classroom screen keeps you and your students on track. You have random name picker, you have different timers and stopwatches. It's really visual for students to see what's coming up next. Maybe you have an agenda on the side. Maybe you have random name picker up there. Maybe you have your calendar and the time. Keep you and your students on track with classroom screen so you can maximize the learning. With Nearpod, there's several modes that you can interact with students. There's live, there's student pace, there's live with Zoom, which is now in beta, which is super cool. So you can pull that. You can also add in lots of different engagement options within Nearpod, like virtual field trips, 3D models, have them hop into websites, have formative assessment pieces like open-ended questions, time to climb, where they race against the clock to answer questions. Short answer responses, or fill in the blank. So there's lots of different options for interactive formative assessment within Nearpod. And what I love about Nearpod is everybody's always on the same page. So you're not on slide 3 and they're on slide 5 or on slide 1. Everyone's on the same page and responsible for their own learning. And the last one is classtools.net. This offers so many tools for you as the teacher to interact with students, to have them create materials, to have them review materials. We talked about formative assessment games like old school Pac-Man. You can have random name picker with that wheel, and there's also a slot machine on there too for the random name picker. And another one of my favorites is the QR code scavenger hunt template. All you need to do is provide your questions and answers, and it'll create a beautiful QR code scavenger hunt template just for you, and it'll tell you where to put everything, which is fantastic. So you can have QR codes all over the room. All right, let's talk about domain 3, one of my favorites, which is instruction. We're going to talk a lot about engagement tools during this part of the session. So we know that students must be engaged in instruction, and there's lots of tools that we can do that with. We can use Pear Deck, we can use Nearpod, we can use Canva or Sway, tools that we've talked about already, but there's a couple more that I want to bring up. So let me minimize this and let's go right into here. One of those is Book Creator. What I love about Book Creator is you can create your own ebooks, you can audio record, students can create their own stuff too, but they also have a really cool library of content already created by students and teachers. So I just went to my teacher dashboard. I clicked on elementary. And up is going to come all the books that they have under elementary. It'll also give you Book Creator in the elementary classroom, and you can read it and see what cool ideas other teachers and students have created online using Book Creator. So let's give it a minute here to think. Another one of my favorite ones within Book Creator is their special education tab. Here we go. Here's our elementary books. These are ones created by students. So you can go in and you can read through it and you can see what cool stuff they've created and that your students can create as well. It'll give you different webinars to help walk you through how to create within Book Creator. And let me go over here to using Book Creator Special Education. And we're going to read this one online. This is a great tool for differentiated instruction as well. I love that we can go in and we can add our own audio supports for students requiring that accommodation. So while that loads up, I'm going to close out some more tabs. I got lots of tabs going, but you know what? That's okay. And we're going to let it think here. Within Book Creator, I can have it read to me. I can share out my books and I can have it be full screen. So here we go. I'm going to flip through. So what am I going to find here? This book talks a lot about universal design for learning and the importance of it. It shows how Book Creator can help support the universal design for learning framework. I can also go in, you can see examples here. I can add in images and students can sort and create cool stuff within their Book Creator. They can do choice boards. You can do social stories within here, graphic organizers, lots of really cool stuff to help students understand content. And there's different types of expressions, so we can record our audio, we can pull in text, we can take a picture. So lots of cool stuff that we can do within Book Creator. We can also create our own stuff within Book Creator. So if I go to my library, you can see here I'm going to just edit a blank slide or a blank book, sorry. And we're going to give it some think time. Alrighty. So within here, I can add media. I can pull in my camera. I can pop in text. I can record my audio. I can add in some shapes. So if this is my cover, I'm going to put that there. I'm going to put some text in. And I can pull that down. I can also edit that. If I wanted to, I can also add audio behind that. So that's pretty cool. I can change the color of my pages. I can do some pretty cool stuff. I can put in music notes. If I have students graphing something, I can pop that in there. Or I can make it look like a comic book. So if I wanted to do that, I can have some comics within there as well. Okay, so I can go in, I can add in my own media. So if I click on import, it's like, what do you want to import? Well, you can pull stuff from files, maps, images, Google Images, and you can embed content as well. So that is Book Creator. You can create stuff within Book Creator and students can as well. You can also share it out. You can publish it online, download it as ebook, and print it out for students to interact with. So if you want to create your own little workbook for students to do, you can do it within Book Creator and it's pretty cool. All right, the next one I want to share with you. Whoops, I didn't sign in before I did it. So sorry. I thought I had this all straightened out. Here we go. Thinking is Kinsey. And what I love, love, love about Kinsey is that I can create some really cool interactive pieces for my interactive whiteboard because we know that the point of the interactive whiteboard is to be interactive, right? So let's think about how we can use that. Okay, thank you. All right, great. Thank you, Kinsey. So the whole point of an interactive whiteboard is for it to be interactive. And Kinsey gives us that ability to create some really cool interactive pieces for our students to use to enhance and engage in learning using technology unlike anything before. So within Kinsey, you'll see that I can pull in some stuff from their library. Thank you. All right, so if I go back here, I can go in and I can pull content from here. So I can edit any of these slides or I can just use them as is and add them to my own library. I can pull in, so this is an example of one of their presentations. This one's all about word relationships and figurative language. So I can go in and I want my students to circle something. So I can go in, we can circle all the red fruit, and we can circle the farm animals. So students can go in, they can interact with the content. We can flip through the different pages here. We can also sort and whoops, I already have that selected. Oh, that's embarrassing. There we go. We can sort and drag. There we go here into the different boxes. So as students, you can send these to students to do on their own, or you can have them up on the interactive whiteboards sorting and going through it. And I find that this is a little bit more easier to create in Kinsey than in some other tools. So you can go in, you can search by different themes. We have holidays and special days, character education, social emotional learning. One of my favorites though is morning routine. So they have a morning meeting template with calendar and weather you can pull in and use with your students. They also have some really cool extras for classroom management, some bonus tools. So they have brain breaks embedded within here. And if I go to my Kinsey presentation, here I can pull in some different types of photos. I can pull in stuff from images and videos. I can add in different papers. But what I really like is this heart because it's kind of like some little extras. You can pull in a spinner, a sticky note. You can have your clock up there. You can have a timer. You can have a stopwatch. A presentation with curtains. You can hide stuff on your screen with the cover up tool. So there's some really cool stuff you can do within Kinsey. But remember how I told you in the beginning of the session, have you ever created Jeopardy on PowerPoint? It is no joke. It is tough, tough, tough. But within Kinsey, they already have it done for you. So let me see if I can find it quickly for you. It is a really unique game that you can create, and all you do is provide the questions and the answers, and it does all of it for you. So let me see if I can find it quickly here. Let me just go into extras. Extra. Oh, cool. They have linking cubes. You can do tracing letters. A little jukebox there for you guys to rock out to as students come in. You can do build a snowman activity. That reminds me of some Elsa stuff going on there, right? First day of school, back to school ideas. That might be really interesting for you guys to check out. Oh, come on there. There's lots of other tools that you can embed within your Kinsey presentation. You can have fraction displays too. Notice I clicked on tools and lessons. You can also have different widgets like the spotlight tool, money dragging options. You can do hangman there if you wanted to do that. There's lots of really cool stuff within here. I will have to say there's lots of cool stuff. All right, so let me go back to my library here. And like I said, you can pull any type of content that you wanted to within here and have that, and you can edit it. You can take slides out. You can share things with other teachers, which is really, really unique. All right, so that is Kinsey. It offers a lot of cool stuff for you to do with your students and interact with your students. All right, let's keep rocking and rolling here. The next one I want to show you is Learning Tools. This is free through Microsoft, and what it does is it really levels the playing field for students with disabilities to interact with content. So if I click on here, try it out. Here you go. We can go in and you're like, okay, this just looks like maybe another text-to-speech reader. Well, it does so much more than that. There's text preferences. So you can increase the font size, decrease the font size. You can increase or decrease spacing between not only lines of text, but also individual words and characters. You can change the font size of the font type. You can also change the contrast if you would like. And you can also pull in grammar options so you can break words down into their individual syllables if you wanted to help separate the words. You can also highlight different parts of speech And you can also have it read aloud to you all during this time. And you can also change the voice faster or slower. They only have two options, female and male. My favorite part though within Microsoft Immersive Reader is the line focus. What it does, you'll notice it dims out the rest of the screen and
Learning Tools Immersive Reader creates a reading experience.
it reads aloud, it highlights as it goes, and I love this option. It also offers a picture dictionary for you to click on, and you can see different pictures here representing the different words. You'll notice that it's also translating. So you'll see here it has lots of translation options. So for our students who are bilingual learners, you can go in and you can change this. It'll change the word or the entire document. So if I click on document, you'll notice here's the Korean, here's the original, Korean and original. And it'll also, depending on the language, read aloud in that language.
학습 도구 몰입 리더는 모든
So check that out. This is free. You'll notice it's also available on different tools like Nearpod, Pear Deck, Buncee. Lots of different tools now have Microsoft Immersive Reader embedded right within it, which is amazing. All right, so let's hop back and review those tools that we've talked about. We know that Domain 3 is all about instruction and engaging students and learning experiences. Book Creator is one of those tools that you can do that. You can create books for your students or have them create their own, send them to relatives and post them on your website. Within Book Creator, you can add text and graphics, images. You can customize the background, customize the type of book that you're creating. You can make a comic book or a traditional book. You can also have it read aloud to you, and it's fantastic for a differentiated instruction. But one of my favorite parts of Book Creator is the audio supports. Next up, we have Kinsey, and we know that interactive whiteboards really need to be interactive, right? So Kinsey provides that for us in really easy ways to create that content. What's nice about it is I can save those presentations that I make within Kinsey, and then I can just go to the computer, sign in, and just get right into there. I don't have to email anything or put anything on a flash drive. All I do is sign right into my account. So that's what makes web-based really cool and create really nice interactive materials for my students to either interact with on the interactive whiteboard, or maybe they're on their own touchscreen, or maybe they're on their own device, because they can access this across their device because it is web-based. Up next, we have Microsoft Learning Tools, truly bringing accessibility to our students. It does the text to speech. It has font size spacing, contrast customization, line focus options, translate, picture dictionary, so many tools that we can use to help support our learners in the classroom. What's nice about it is their screen looks like everybody else's. The content might be the same, but it can be customized for their own needs. All right, Domain 4 is all about professional development. So when it comes to professional development, there's so much out there. You can do district provided PD, look on your own for materials and resources like you're doing here for Rock Ed Camp. And I want to share with you some of my favorite ones. One is chalk.com. You can upload and create your own lesson plans within Chalk. You can share them out with your district. You can take attendance, you can do assessment, you can do observations within here. So if you had doing RTI or progress monitoring, you can do all that within Chalk. You can also share out your lesson plans. You don't have to, no more emailing, or if you make any changes, you got to email it right away. It's right there within Chalk. You can also set up your semester, set up calendar, have a sticky note right there if you have little notes you want to take for reflection. Fantastic tool for that. Another one is podcast, PD in your PJs or in your car if you're traveling. I love a podcast and I can recommend a few for you. So for my student teachers, I recommend the EduMagic podcast. It's geared towards aspiring and new teachers. So check that out wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure you subscribe. You can subscribe to any podcast for free on your podcast player, like Google Play Podcasts, iTunes has podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Pandora. You can subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Another one is Teachers Need Teachers by Kim Lepre. She does a beautiful podcast just for new teachers. And Chris Nessie does a podcast called The House of Edtech, where it's all about edtech tools. He checks them out. He tells you how to use them in the classroom. It's very, very practical. And I want to share a couple of those resources with you. So here is chalk.com. Here I can pull my attendance. I can do my grading within here as well. So here I can mark my assignments. I can pull in how students are doing. I can grade their work right within here. I can have resources that are shared within my district or within my team, so I don't have to be emailing back and forth folders or anything. They're right within here. I have a lesson plan template that we have to use. Here I can pull in my attendance, and I can mark, my new semester and mark students as here. I can go into my planner. We're going to have this think here for a minute. Here is my here is an example lesson. What I can pull up here, I can pull in video and links and images right within here so I don't forget anything. I have my calendar. I can do my to-do list right here too. And if I'm reflecting on a lesson quickly, I can just pop that in. Or if a student's like, oh, I gotta leave early today, I can pop that into my little sticky note. I know it sounds really basic, but it's a super cool feature. And here I can go in and I can share my lesson. I can import a lesson that I already have. I can copy lessons. So if I am doing the same thing across different sections, I can just copy that. And then I can also share them to Google Classroom, which is amazing. So that is chalk.com. The next one I want to show you is the Education Podcast Network. These are podcasts for educators by educators, and this is what makes it really powerful. You're learning with alongside your peers. So here's some of my favorites: House of Edtech, beautiful podcast by Chris Nesi; Edtech Bites by Gabriel Carrillo. He does a beautiful job with pairing up ed tech with a side of food or drink. He shares with his guests, what's some of your favorite restaurants. And so you're learning a little about the person that he's interviewing and a really cool tech tool that they like. Google Teacher Podcast with Matt Miller and Casey Bell. If you're a Google certified teacher or if your school is using Google, you got to subscribe to that one. Um, Here's mine, EduMagic Podcast, a podcast for pre-service teachers, new and aspiring teachers. Shake Up Learning Show with Casey Bell. She does beautiful stuff with Google. Podcast PD, they talk a lot about different topics within education, hot topics within education. You can find them over on the Education Podcast Network. Burned In Teacher, Amber does a beautiful job with helping teachers stay in the profession. And Teach Me Teacher, podcast for educators, has gotten a lot of awards as well. So there's lots of great stuff out there. This is you can find on the Education Podcast Network, and you can find some great shows out there too. All right, so one last tool I wanted to share with you is social media. I have PD in your PJs or in your car, wherever you listen, because this is where I started to find podcasts, was through my social media. You can get professional Twitter and Instagram accounts. Share what you're doing in your classrooms. Share what you're learning about. That's kind of why we had the little hashtag down below there, and tag people that you're learning about with, because as you grow as a teacher, it's just going to help show your students that you're a lifelong learner. Learning never stops for us as teachers. We always need to be learning, and getting connected is a true way to do this. So for my PLN, I've learned so much from my people on Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn, but you don't have to have all of them. Pick one that floats your boat and start posting to it. You can start by looking around and searching hashtags like EdChat, EduMagic, New Teacher, student teacher, PST PLN, pre-service teacher PLN, and see what people are posting about. Like what they're doing. Maybe reply or comment or share your own content whenever you get the courage to do so. For some people, they're like, yep, I'm ready to jump in. I'm going to share everything I want to share. Other people, it takes some time for them to get used to the platform. But please try to get connected. It'll really help you with your job search, because employers want to see what you're doing online, and it'll help you connect with other educators for great ideas that are going to challenge, support, and encourage you along the way. All right, friends, just for my Rock Ed Camp attendees, I have 5 additional bonus tools. So if you are interested in these 5 additional bonus tools, head on over to bit.ly/SRU rockcamp20, and you'll have a little form there, and I'll be happy to send you a PDF of 5 additional tech tools that you can use to rock your student teacher socks off. All right, I want to thank you so much for your time today. Let's connect over on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at sfessage, professor, author, and podcast host. I'm a professor of education at Grove City College, where I teach future teachers all about special ed and ed tech. I'm the author of EduMagic, a guide for pre-service teachers, and co-author of EduMagic Shine On, a guide for new teachers. Host the EduMagic podcast, and like I said, I want to see what cool stuff you are learning about. So let's connect over on Twitter or Instagram, and I'm so excited to see you over there. Remember, if you want those 5 bonus tools, Go to bit.ly/SRU rockcamp20 and be on the lookout for your inbox because you'll be sent right there. Have a great conference. I look forward to learning alongside with you and have a great day. Bye, everyone.